Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Think Big with Dan and Qasim. I'm a team filling in for Qasim today. And our guest today is Chris Cook. So, Chris, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Hi, my name's Chris Cook. I live in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm the founder and CEO of Special Leaf Tea. We are a ready-to-drink, naturally functional iced tea made with healthful olive leaf, all natural ingredients, and no added sugar to promote health and wellness.
Awesome. So how did you get the idea for this product?
I was a chef for a long time. I grew up in kitchens and hotels in the food and beverage industry for 20 plus years. Started consulting a lot towards the tail end of my career, right around 2010, 2015. I was working in an olive orchard, a South Texas olive orchard, doing the oil every year and developing products and running the food and beverage program out at the ranch. And I discovered this tea they were making from the leaves of the tree that had been done for thousands of years, come to find out after researching it. And I was just blown away at the flavor profile and then researching all the health benefits. It's the same kind of benefits as what you're seeing with a good Mediterranean diet or a good extra virgin olive oil. Things like help with inflammation and cholesterol, blood pressure, hypertension, just a laundry list of great things that come from this byproduct, essentially. Just putting two and two together, thinking to myself, hey, this needs to be seen, heard, tasted by everybody. Let's get going. And it took me probably about 4 years to really understand, what it would take to start something like this. So we launched in December of 18, started taking revenue probably in the first quarter of 2019, and we've just been building it since then.
So how did you go from you had this idea in your mind, you saw this product, this is awesome, to actually going and doing and starting this company? Because this is really cool.
You only know what you know, and you ask for a lot of help. You kind of build your personal board of directors, and it turns into your advisory board and your mentor board. And you start learning, adjusting, all the while trying to keep, revenue coming in. You're bootstrapping it. You realize that you want to be whatever size you want to be, and that you have to have a growth plan in order to accomplish that. So yeah, just a lot of asking for help and surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you is how you're going to be successful at whatever you do, really. Same thing with kitchens and food. You can do the best food, have the nicest kitchen and so on and so forth. But if you don't have a team, or if you don't have that board of directors or that advisory board or those mentors to help you along the way, good luck. So that's what I mean by you only know what you know. And you have to really sometimes be very, very patient, humble yourself, understand people's timelines and those kinds of things, in order to not get overwhelmed. But it's a day-to-day kind of, let's check some things off and add some things to the list.
So what would you say makes you better than your competition?
Well, we've always promoted clean ingredient list, meaning no added sugars, no additives, no preservatives. We really want the olive leaf to speak for itself and what it brings to the table. That and the health benefits associated, are just, it's like a super tea, it's better than green tea, even with the amount of antioxidants and those kinds of things. So that makes us rise above the competition, because it wasn't conjured up in a boardroom, so to speak, and we want to give back to the consumers. We want to give back to the fans. We want to let them know this is something great. This is something that, you really need to look into as far as drinking it, daily, or using it, as a supplement to, whatever you're kind of trying to, take care of yourself with, whether, it's cholesterol or weight or, your mental state, boost your immune system. So that's always something that's very, very important, even now after COVID. Before it was, but now I think the pandemic has kind of somewhat shifted people's focus and really got them to understand, and more so, that, you need to take care of yourself. And how do you do that? You control your diet, your lifestyle. That way you feel better, you look better. And a lot of times you don't have to rely on Western medicine to dictate that. There's things that you can do holistically, consciously on a daily basis that can really help.
biggest challenges you are facing right now in the business?
Challenges are always, this is always going to be an education kind of thing. Remember when kombucha came out, nobody knew what it was, and it took a long time to kick off and really resonate with people. So if you have anything that is really helping us, it's a tea, so that resonates with people. But education is always going to be a challenge because it's new until it's less of a challenge. We're raising money. It's a constant fundraise kind of scenario when you get into wanting to be as big as we do. So right now we're raising money again. We're raising 500,000. And that will get us through the next close to 2 years if we allocate everything like we have kind of drawn up. And then it's understanding how to grow the most strategic and logical, intelligent way, and making sure that those funds are being utilized to the utmost. And you really have to think of it like, let's build our own backyard. Let's, build it from the ground up closest to home. So when you do make mistakes, it's not like it's across the country or overseas. You really have to understand where you want to be and how to get there. And you can't fly by the seat of your pants and just expect things to land where they're supposed to. You have to constantly talk to your advisors and your mentors and your fans as well. They'll give you the best feedback in the world. If there were any challenges, it would be those kinds of things. It's the education, it's the fundraise, and then it's kind of like the logistics behind how to grow the right way.
Awesome. So in terms of technology, what is the role of technology and e-commerce in your business?
E-commerce, we sell directly online to our consumers. We're on Shopify. That makes it real easy. In the next week or so, we'll be on Walmart.com and Amazon, at a very similar price point to what you're going to find online. So it's those kinds of things as far as e-commerce are concerned that we strive to, want to partner and be on platforms that are reputable, that understand, what small emerging brands go through, that might offer and hopefully offer some kind of advertising support, promotional types of support to make sure that we're successful. But technology-wise, we are working with a group in Texas A&M. We have ties to Texas A&M here locally to develop kind of like a token, not Bitcoin, but like a token kind of aspect to the company in order to increase fan engagement, help with fundraising in the future. But really, it's to increase and to to let our fans be somewhat of an owner and to take part and feel like they're they're in it just as much as we are. We've always wanted to do things that are a little bit different, and we strive to be different than most. And whatever we can come across and it makes the most sense for what we're doing long term, we want to explore and be kind of just as we're kind of trailblazers with producing a tea such as we are. It's the ways to get it out there and how do you kind of make people scratch their heads a little bit as to, I haven't seen that before. That's interesting. I'm intrigued. I'm curious. I want to learn more, and I'm sure there's going to be other things in the near future, with ChatGPT and AI and all those things. But as long as we keep our ear to the railroad kind of thing, the ear to the street, we'll always, look for more kinds of ways to get in front of our fans and engage and just to build that awareness and build that community.
Awesome. So in terms of AI specifically, like what role do you think it'll have in the next year or so in helping your business?
Just off the top of my head, a lot will have to do with marketing and advertising. I see that just now it's just you're already hearing different kinds of things that can be done, and I think that would be the first kind of what will make the most sense for us without dulling what we're doing or who we are. You want to do it consciously and really take your time with it before it gets away from you. And we're an organic brand. We come from the earth, so there's not a lot of room for non-human connectivity, but I think that it will serve its place and can be done in a respectful kind of conscientious way.
In terms of non-humans, like, do you think it could help you with like a chat bot or like, as a customer service agent per se?
Yeah, something like that, that answers questions. You don't have to look at the website and read about it. There's I see that happening too. It's just we don't want to turn off our fan base. We want to be kind of a driving force for sure, but I'm sure that there's a way to do that without getting or looking or feeling too sterile.
Sure. So like you mentioned marketing and getting the word out. So what does that look like for you? Has it been like mostly social media, or have you gone to like in-person events to stores? Like where you really like been able to grow your traffic?
We're all over the place, especially in the very beginning. It was reaching out to micro influencers that come from our space, the beverage industry, the tea space, the health and wellness space. It was getting anybody that I knew locally to take a look at what we're doing and listen and taste and write about. A lot of periodicals, magazines, blogs, those kinds of things. Those and still to this day, very organic kinds of ways of doing things in order to get in front of people and not spend a lot of money. Once we did have a little bit of a budget, we hired a company to help us with SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, those kinds of things to gain awareness, traction, and increase online sales. And now we're still looking at other influencers that are a little bit more than in the very beginning, that have more reach, more draw, more exposure than the ones that we used in the very beginning. And we do farmers markets, we do tastings and pop-ups. There's a number of not-for-profit communities and organizations here locally in San Antonio and Austin that we're a part of and help. Currently demoing in all the central markets in Texas. So we're doing promotion and demos in each store once a month for the next couple, 3-4 months. So we're active in fan engagement, talking, educating, bringing awareness to the health and wellness space, talking about something that's can be used supplementally and just really has a great history and clean ingredient list that I think so far is resonating with fans, and they're open and they let us know, and we're very appreciative. We love talking to our fans and customers, and we're always looking at different ways to increase that awareness.
In terms of pop-ups and farmers markets, do you typically go yourself? And when you do, or if you do, can you talk a little bit more about like what value that in-person interaction has? Because I really I believe it's like there's something totally different when you're actually shaking someone's hand and they're trying your product. I'm sure it's definitely more valuable as opposed to online per se.
Yeah, it's a tasting. We don't let anybody. I used to do them myself personally, and every once in a while I will, but I've kind of gotten a team with me so I can focus on bigger picture types of things right now. But in the very beginning, it was me. Sometimes Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Most of the time, it was every Saturday and Sunday. So I was doing a market in San Antonio on Saturday, then doing a market in Austin on Sunday. Sometimes there'd be other ones that I would participate in, across the hill country, an hour away, an hour and a half away. It's whatever it takes to keep the money coming in so you can, continuously, buy ingredients and continue, making it and scaling and bootstrapping and all those kinds of things. But it's so crucial in the very beginning when you're a small coming up emerging brand to get your face and your product and your voice in front of people personally. I cannot stress it enough. This industry, kind of more so than others, it's liquid to lips. People got to taste it. They got to smell it. They got to learn about it. They'll make up their own minds. And what we did is we utilized those markets for, instant feedback. At least 2 of the flavors were because of fans asking, for us to do them. We took sugar out of all of our, SKUs, all of our flavors, because of us developing one without sugar and using, an alternative sweetener that doesn't have a caloric content at all. Monk fruit was because of the fans and how we saw that it was so popular after we launched it. We were like, hey, we have the intelligence to do it and the know-how. Let's just take sugar out of all of them. And we were using a really, really good unrefined sugar, palm sugar, coconut sugar, in the very beginning, so we were still, kind of wanting to bring, the olive leaf up front, without using a sugar that wasn't good for you at all, but it wasn't worth it at the end, and that's all because of the fans. That's all because of the engagement that we got face to face. And it's crucial to do that when you have a product like ours, and food in general, food and beverage in general. I think it really gives you what you're looking for instantaneously. It's just, I think, super important for that engagement and awareness. So you're not just wondering, hoping, not hearing what anybody says, and just going on a whim or whatever you might feel in your gut. It's good to get people's response and critique. It'll humble you for sure, because not everybody likes what we're doing. There's a lot of people that love sweet tea and have only drinking sweet tea their whole life, and this is a different kind of thing. It's not sweet like a sweet tea. It doesn't make you want to go to your dentist after drinking it. It's very healthy for you, and it's got levels to it. It's that kind of uniqueness and whatnot that you got to talk about. You got to educate people. You got to let them know.
Definitely. So what is your top business priority the next 3 to 6 months?
Next 3 to 6 months would be to close this fundraise round, continue to work with our central market partners, and to get into 2 more larger retail, specialty retail accounts by the end of the year. And with that $500K raise, it's putting those things, in line to make sure that we're successful over the next 18 or so months. So it's maintaining those larger specialty retail accounts, while also working with the ad company that we hire, and really understanding, are we doing everything that we can possibly do as far as our e-commerce? Because we really want to drive that to about 15 to 18% of our total revenue. So the e-commerce, because it's so accessible to people, and we've gotten out of glass. We used to be in a bottle, now we're in a can, a slender can. So we've reduced the shipping cost, and we really want that to be a driver for us, is the e-commerce sales. So a subscription model is probably in our future, but it's those kinds of things. It's putting that money to good use. It's continuously working with our retail partners through promo and demo, and then focusing on the e-commerce platform.
What is the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before we started this journey as an entrepreneur?
It doesn't happen overnight. It does not happen overnight, and you got to be willing to give it, I'd say, at least 4 to 6 years before you can really breathe, and before you can, really have something super tangible. It takes that long to build something with resonation and some kind of foundation. Be conscious of your cap table and who your investors are, and is it the right time to take on investors? I think you really have to put everything into it personally and with your team that you possibly can without raising any money. That way you're not indebted to anybody. If you do decide to, not do it anymore, understand what it's going to take as far as your growth plan. You can have a successful company and stay in your town, stay in your city for as long as you can if you do it the right way. But the question is, how big do you want to get? And what's your product? And then you think about scalability, right? Because you can make it yourself forever. But if you want it to be super, super big and well known, you're going to have to think about scalability and co-packing, co-manufacturing, and different points of distribution and whatnot. So understanding your growth plan, understanding that it doesn't happen overnight, doing everything that you possibly can with you and your team before you take on any kind of outside investment.
Makes sense. So if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, speaking of scalability, where do you expect things to go for your business?
In a year, we'll be definitely statewide, and have a lot more distribution points in and around the major cities in Texas. And then we'll start to talk about raising money again. After we've already raised 500, we're going to go into another probably Series B round where we'll raise upwards of 3 to 5 million probably at that point. And then you're thinking about national distribution, and all the while you're conscious of what's happening overseas. You're thinking about co-packing overseas and manufacturers and whatnot, because this is a product that originated in the ancient Mediterranean area, and I think that we need to take it home at some point in the life of the brand. So I always have that in the back of my mind, on the back burner. But really, it's to solidify Texas, start thinking about how to start to raise the next Series B fundraise round, and that national kind of launch, what that looks like.
Awesome. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or social media handles, like the best way for somebody to get in contact with you?
The website is www.specialleaf.com. You can see our Instagram handle at Special Leaf Co, Special Leaf Co. We're on Facebook, Special Leaf, Instagram, Twitter, Special Leaf, LinkedIn, Chef Chris Cook, or we have a Special Leaf page as well. We're in a lot of different places where you can find us. I think the website is a great place to start because it gives you a lot of information and a lot of studies that have been done behind, some of the things that the tea has been known to do, has been known to support. So you get that validation as well. You can see kind of a little history on myself, history behind the tea. And then, you'll see some organic kinds of things on the other platforms, the other social media platforms, so that's more of a day-to-day kind of thing. With the website, you can see what's set in stone and learn a little bit more about the foundation of what we built over the past 4 years.
Sounds great. Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time. We're rooting for you. And yeah, it was a pleasure chatting with you.
Awesome, guys. Appreciate you so much. Have a good day.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.